Good day, exiles, and welcome back to the community races. Taking over for Havoc 616 because his voice is still shot. I am Ziggy D, and I'm joined here by special guest caster Rise QT to take on the first round of the semi-finals. How are you going, Rise?
Hey, what's up, Ziggy? Hello, everybody. Thanks very much for having me yet again. I just got hosted literally by Quinn669. Who has now jumped over the host to Havoc. Okay, that's absolutely fine. But hey, everybody, I hope you're having a great day, and I'm looking forward to these races.
Me too, man. Me too. We had some awesome group stages yesterday. With it was very eventful. We had some deaths. We had plenty of deaths. We had some new records set. A huge new world record time.
Oh yeah. For
the Vile kill, set by DeadandDoom. And we also had some funny shenaniganry from you as well, too, with some new technology. That was very exciting to see. But, nonetheless, in about 2 minutes' time, we have the first round of the two semi-finals we'll be having today, which is going to be DeadandDoom facing off against Fightgarr, SFHobbit, and Helman.
Yeah, that's looking pretty spicy, to be honest. Maybe with... SFHobbit being a little bit of an upset. I don't think a lot of people were expecting him to be in the semis, but he's performed extremely well. It does look like he's been practicing a lot, and we'll be seeing what exactly he can pull out. While the other players, you know, DeadandDoom doesn't need much of an introduction. Most people know who he is. Fightgarr, longtime melee racer considered to be one of the best by many, and then Helman, also a long-time racer that has recently made his return back into the world of Path of Exile racing, and I think a lot of people are looking at him to show us really how it's done.
I would also like to point out that Mr. Helman down in the bottom right corner, I asked yesterday when he was casting with me whether he'd be pulling out the red shirt action for his duelist, and he has indeed. So he'll be channeling into that red shirt power as we begin right now. Rise, we've got a ranger, dude.
Yeah, Hobbit definitely one of the players that feels most comfortable in a ranger. Previously, he has been a pretty prominent racer in the past, but it does seem like he took a very long break from racing. But back when he did used to race in the day, he was primarily a ranger racer, so a little bit unusual of a strategy. Hopefully he's got something figured out, because personally, I'm not sure how a ranger can compete with all these duelists here.
Yeah, all conventional wisdom says that the ranger just can't keep up in these longer races. We definitely saw a little bit of spiciness from ranger in some of the shorter races in previous weekends. But this is a Dominus kill. That's a decent length race. They're taking it all the way through to the end of Act 3. We've got multiple boss fights in Act 3. We've got a lot of running, or in the case of the duelists, a lot of leap slamming action. And does the blink arrow keep up? Without some move speed boots or some...
Ooh, he just gets movement speed boots, so that absolutely helps. Hobbit picks them up immediately.
Well, there you go. That helps a lot.
Yeah, that's a very good start.
Without the move speed boots, Ranger has a hard time keeping up, but move speed boots, only for the Ranger right off the bat, is a very, very good starting place for the Ranger to be in. So the Ranger down in the bottom left, as it do not have a label, is indeed SFHobbit, stupid fat hobbit.
We do have most of our players now progressing through the coast. However, Fightgarr has taken quite a bit more longer to vendor. He doesn't have a 3-link. I'm not sure what exactly happened there, whether he maybe vendored his starting weapon, because he does not have another sword. But he does have a ground slam, which requires 1 extra scroll. Oh, he actually crashed.
Ooh,
that's not very good.
Something definitely went wrong in his vendoring. Not either way though, even with the crash. Because yeah, he's got a rustic sash, but no iron rings or anything. So not sure where that currency ended up going into. So a little bit of a setback there. Well,
yeah, I do believe that he bought a ground slam, which requires 1 scroll of wisdom, and then simply didn't have enough for the rest. Maybe didn't have a particularly worthwhile kill. Maybe he dropped too many blue items, and now they're just stacked up in his inventory, and he didn't want to sell them for the transmute. As a duelist does require about at least 2 transmutations to get everything out of Act 1, because he needs to get an Amber if he doesn't get Strength for his Leap Slam, and he also needs to buy the Sunder, Marauder being the only class that actually does get the Sunder for free off of the Caverns of Wrath quest.
That's a little bit of an extra investment required, which the Ranger will likely not have to make. That said, the Ranger's gear dependency has been proven in previous races to be huge. With good gear, the Ranger actually looks pretty competitive, but with average to bad gear, oh yeah, no, it's not looking good. Whereas we see those Thunder Boys get by a little bit on, mediocre gear sometimes and still look like they're doing pretty well. So we'll see how that ends up panning out for the races there.
Yeah, I do think Rangers generally have a pretty similar time when it comes to the mobility of the classes. It does seem like Leap Slam is the way to go, but do remember that this is just a Dominus skill, which means that there's not as much mobility involved, and generally a Ranger can somewhat keep up on a Volkill. I'm not sure. There's no restrictions for this race. Previously, we had races where there would be a sense of progression because the players would have restrictions on the abilities where they would not be allowed to use the same ability twice throughout the entirety of the race, which would make them choose tactically which abilities they're going to be using for groups, semis, and then possibly finals. But still, Hobbit deciding to bust out the Ranger, more than anything, it does look like a comfort pick here.
Yeah, I mean, it's his choice number one. This is all of the players' choice number ones. Numero uno choices. And, well, this is his priority. So he's obviously feeling really comfortable in it. Maybe he's been practicing and he's like, yeah, I can keep up with this.
Yeah, and he's doing pretty well so far. Currently, the second player, those movement speed boots, definitely helping out. DeadandDoom, I don't even know if I need to mention it.
Yeah, you don't even need to mention it. We're not.
And the funniest part is he actually runs past the ramp, goes in the wrong direction, which was a very easy layout to read. So he absolutely knew that he's going in the wrong direction, and yet at the end of it, he picks up an acceleration shrine. Something's not right here.
He should not be rewarded for that.
Yeah, no, absolutely not. He knew what he was doing, and still gets an acceleration shrine. We might have to test for some possibly third-party programs here. This is very unusual.
Some RNG enhancing drugs right there. Could be big controversy here in the Path of Exile community.
Oh yeah, absolutely so.
All jokes aside, DeadandDoom getting that acceleration shrine in lucky, once again proving to be a little bit of a meme at this point. But he's always doing his best to take advantage of it as well. What have we got? We got an Ice Nova shrine for Fightgarr in the top right, and Helman is picking up an Orbital Alchemy. So everyone's getting a little bit of something. And we had Hobbit get some move speed boots. Everyone's had a bit of something.
Yeah, everybody's looking pretty good. Hobbit's damage looking good too. I'm not sure if he's still using the starting weapon or if he's possibly picked up a decent short bow at this point. But it's looking pretty solid. I think it's still the starting weapon, so he must have some pretty nice jewelry to be keeping up with the other players. Currently hitting the waypoint, while Fightgarr still being behind with that unfortunate crash, just making it to ledge. But honestly, everybody's on a... Ooh, Helman gets a Amber Amulet. That's going to allow him to not have to spend money to buy the Amber Amulet to be able to Leap Slam. That's definitely a worry for every Duelist player. You're always concerned that possibly your... Ooh, Helman is lagging too, I think. His ping is looking not so great, and he seems to be stopping in place. But that Amber Amulet is definitely going to help him out a lot. There's a little bit of concern on his face. Something's not right here. These NA players, I don't even know.
Look at that! Look at that overlay. That's a roller coaster right there.
Yeah, one crashes, the other one's lagging. Come on, guys, get it together.
Yeah, hopefully he can have a smooth run without any nasty lag spikes or anything like that. That's not what we want a race to come down to. Definitely not. The player's skill and determination, and maybe a little bit of enjoyable luck. Is what it needs to come down to. So we've got an essence on Hobbit's screen. I reckon he'll be picking that up. No, just skips the skeleton.
Just passed it. Yeah, I guess he's got movement speed boots. A Essence of Hatred would most likely be used as a suffix for boots, which opens up 3 possible prefixes. But since he's got those movement speed boots, I guess he doesn't choose to pick it up, but that's something that might bite him in the end because, well, he still needs a decent weapon. That's definitely something that's very tricky on a ranger, and possibly that could have been an alchemy.
Yeah, I was going to
Hopefully
say
it's not going to hurt him.
Yeah, any of those early essences just used as an alchemy on weapons for a range, I feel like they make a big difference. To be able to like throw an essence on a longbow, I feel like just helps so much, or even just a short bow at this point carries you quite a good distance.
Oh yeah, absolutely so. Well, Helman's getting a big follow here. That is a one big duelist. Definitely a fan of the duelist class. Not sure what exactly. Okay, DeadandDoom actually picks up a axe from the vendor. Interesting. That cost him quite a bit of time, but that also means that despite not having a weapon, he's still the first one to get to prison and now progress, hitting that dead end with Hobbit very shortly behind. Hobbit's been really keeping up, and this is a decent pace. Honestly, any entry below 9 minutes to prison on a ranger is a pretty good score, and if he continues like this and gets a quick Mervail kill, Act 2 shouldn't be too different from what DeadandDoom will be getting here, or any of the other duelist players.
I have a little bit of a soft spot for the ranger racing action, and I like to see one ranger come out against 3 duelists right here. So I'm cheering for Hobbit right here. I'm keen to see the ranger put in a pretty good show. So looking forward to seeing how that one pans out.
Yeah, it's always nice to cheer for the underdog, and I mean, he definitely set himself up for a pretty tough race here, as he drops extremely low, but picks it back up. The large flask definitely helping out a lot.
Yeah, he's looking in pretty good shape there for his upcoming Brutus fight. He's got that large life flask. No chest armor he can equip just yet. DeadandDoom's fully equipped for his. We see 2 smalls for Fightgarr, and I didn't see if he has anything else in his inventory to help him right now. Havoc's got 2 large life flasks and a chest armor ready. He is ready for Brutus. DeadandDoom is going to be taking on Brutus first, though. Looks like Fightgarr does have a chest, but still only 2 small life flasks, so he's probably going to be hoping for one soon, but he's just now entering lower prison, so he's a little bit behind.
DeadandDoom having really good prisons, honestly. He just barely hit his level 8, which can be a little bit tricky. Obviously, you want as much experience as possible, be able to equip that leap slime as soon as possible. Some people even hit level 9 prior to Brutus, despite having good layouts. But he just barely hits level 8, which allows him to equip the level 8 support gems, and is now heading to Brutus on a very good pace. So those layouts are definitely helping him out.
And he's going to be smashing Brutus here.
Oh yeah.
He takes a little bit of damage from one of the punches, but that is it. That's all Brutus can put up in terms of a fight. And Brutus has just been slashed asunder.
Oh yeah, and that definitely shows the power of that dual strike. That's super powerful. Double strike, excuse me. Dual strike? No, we don't want to be talking about that.
No, not that dual strike action. Saw that a little bit in some of the other races. It looked like Cleve was just about as good.
Oh yeah.
As a single target skill.
Absolutely so. Well, Hobbit currently entering Warden's quarters. He's got that 3-link. He's got the movement speed boots. Honestly, it's looking pretty great, and that time is very respectable. Getting a under 12-minute Brutus time is always very good, but especially if you're that ranger. But he definitely won't have the sort of single target that DeadandDoom had here. And I wonder if his Brutus fight is going to be looking nearly as smooth. That 3-link absolutely helping the large flask, so as long as he manages his flask properly, he should be in a pretty good spot. Utilizing the puncture, trying to get Brutus to chase him around, proccing his archer, forgets to add the points, does it mid-fight, but so far it's been pretty smooth. He's on his last large flask charge. The ads are coming in, but he's got enough damage, not focusing on that ballista anymore, not even kiting Brutus. Wow, that was actually a lot smoother than I thought it's going to be from the ranger player. That was crazy.
That was not too bad. Yeah, it was not too bad. Yeah. Definitely not going to be as fast as the duelist face tankery we saw from DeadandDoom. He does get a unique item. It's Malachi's Artifice. Unfortunately, that is going to go get vended. No love for the old Malachi's Artifice there.
Oh, interesting choice too. He must have a pretty decent weapon because he just vendored a blue short bow. I wonder.
No, he's got a white short bow, so maybe that was a bit of a mistake.
Maybe that was a crude bow. Maybe I didn't see it correctly, but even a well-rolled crude bow. Oh my god, this Fightgarr just get the craziest weapon? after the Brutus fight, he picks up a rare boarding axe, IDs it immediately. I believe I saw 80 IPD on it. That thing looks crazy. Oh yeah, 88.
It looks like. Is it early?
I'm not even sure, to be honest. It didn't even look like maybe it had some attack speed on it too.
It looked nutty, yeah.
Yeah.
Several damage rolls right there. Whew.
Well, Fightgarr has been the player who has been known to not have particularly great RNG in these races, and I do believe that his weapon's pretty crazy because he just leaves a blue boarding axe on the floor. Yeah, that must be one good axe to be leaving boardings behind.
I will be checking his gear as soon as it is equipped and updated, and look at the stats on that god tier axe from the looks of things, and we'll get the exact loading on that one.
Do remember that the players do need to hit level 11 before they were able to equip their boarding axe, which will be a weapon that they're going to be using for quite a while, because the next one for them that would be optimal would be a cleaving axe, I believe. That's level 16, or yeah, it's level 16, but it's not that great because if it's got pretty low attack speed, which is not necessarily something that you want on Sunder that already has a less attack speed multiplier. Yeah,
that's it. A fast boarding axe with a decent damage roll on it can, I think, even take you past that potentially.
Excuse me for the brain fart. It's a cleaver.
Yeah,
I'm like, cleaving axe. Cleave.
I mean, that's
pretty
not
good.
Inaccurate. That's not inaccurate.
Something wasn't right there, you know. Double-sided axe, all this sort of stuff. I mean, SSF English. Sometimes these things happen. Apologies to every party involved. It's a cleaver.
It's a cleaver. SSF English, wonderful. Looks like we've got DeadandDoom already hitting up his Mervail action here. It feels like only seconds since his Brutus fight. It's not time for all the other players to get through.
That was an extremely smooth Brutus, and now he's heading into a very fast Mervail. Just going to be a little bit over 15 minutes, which is super respectable. Generally, anything under 17, you're going to be happy because of that RNG involving Act 1. So this is definitely a very good run so far from DeadandDoom.
It's often said that DeadandDoom's Act 1 is not necessarily his best act, but he is smashing through Act 1 today, so no problems when he gets a blue boarding axe at least.
Yeah, Hobbit has really slowed down, honestly. I'm not exactly sure if he's trying to get as much XP as possible. I do believe that he's going to be hitting level 10 here soon, which isn't particularly great either. He definitely wasn't under level for the Brutus fight, so I'm not quite sure why his time's looking like this, but it has definitely given an opportunity for Fightgarr and Helman to catch up.
And that they have. He was leading the charge by quite a bit before, but now he's about even with the two guys from the looks of things.
Yep, Hobbit hits level 10, Fightgarr and Helman very shortly behind, with Helman actually pulling ahead here too. And do remember that Fightgarr is about 30 seconds or so behind because of that game crash that he had earlier. DeadandDoom switching already to his level 11 weapon, looking pretty good. I don't think he's got... Well, his leaps are looking really fast, to be honest. I'm not exactly sure if he doesn't have attack speed on one piece of his inventory at least.
I'm trying to get that gear update now. It looks like that boarding axe is only just 20 IPD, so a little bit of damage. He's got a nice pair of gloves though, with 2 damage rolls, life, and a resist.
Oh, okay.
Not seeing any attack speed anywhere for him though.
Oh, okay. So I guess it's just the usual DeadandDoom leap slam. He just makes that ability look so much better than everybody else. And currently, yeah, he's progressing at a pretty good pace. Switching out over to the boarding axe from the claw, something that will possibly allow him to maybe spend a little bit more currency on his weapon later on. And he also wants to keep the claw, possibly for some offhand stat stick resistances, if he just happens to pick up an essence or maybe an alchemy orb later on. He's just got too much currency. Fightgarr fighting a huge, massive shrine. But this shrine was leading away from the Mervail fight, so hopefully this won't cost him too much. A shrine and a master in his zone. It's going to take him a while to get through, while the other players not only have catched up, but also passed him and are currently fighting Mervail.
At exactly the same time, I'd like to point out as well. Hobbit's and Helman's kills look like they were almost identical for a bit there. Helman getting to his second phase just moments before Hobbit. I'm doing a little bit of gear management there. Looks like he's got his currency together to do a vendor crafted bow. The old vendor crafted bow is like the bare minimum.
Yep. It absolutely helps out. For sure, you should be focusing on it, but it doesn't feel nearly as much of an upgrade as possibly some of the rare bows can roll. At this point, players can get even with a hybrid roll about 100 IPD, so that 40 to 60 IPD or so, depending on what sort of belt you're going to be using for your vendor craft, isn't looking nearly as well as the rare weapon alternative.
I was just taking a look at Fightgar's axe that he picked up. It is indeed a god tier axe with 82 increased physical damage. It looks like it's got that hybrid roll in addition to the regular one. 9% attack speed, a little bit of resist, and some increased elemental damage with attack skills.
Oh my goodness, yeah, that is ridiculous. And I mean, we could see it from how his Mervail fight went. He was basically half a zone behind while Helman and Hobbit were already fighting Mervail. And he blasted through, getting to Southern Forest nearly as fast as the other players, actually passing Hobbit very soon, with Helman still ahead, just now entering Southern Encampment, while DeadandDoom is progressing as fast as DeadandDoom can progress, and he's already in Sin's level 2, utilizing that Sunder.
I'm very much looking forward to seeing Fightgar's damage for a good remainder of this race here. Do you think you leave an upgrade out of that axe? Like, I feel like it's pretty difficult to get a cleaver that beats that even.
Oh yeah, definitely won't be using a cleaver. I don't even think he's going to be picking them up, honestly. Maybe if it's a rare one and he can possibly get a even better one, but that's really 1 in a million, so I don't think he's even going to be bothering with anything cleaver related, and maybe eventually he's going to be switching out at level 21 to a boarding axe. Then fighting Fidelitas, dropping a little bit low there. Having to back out, costing him a couple seconds.
Fidelitas claiming several lives yesterday. I don't think we'll be seeing any Fidelitas kills today, though. I think all these players have got Fidelitas' number, but we'll see.
Yeah.
He is one of those bosses that can get a little bit of an upset in a race.
Helman looking to get level 12. Gets it right now, going to be probably switching to Sunder. I don't think any of these players are looking to stick with Grand Slam, as it is known to be basically the worst Sunder for these early game sort of races. Maybe not necessarily in the end game, but currently Sunder is quite a bit powerful, while Hobbit already also at level 12, actually catching up to the other players. I do believe that the other guys simply focused on getting that Sunder as fast as possible, as Grand Slam wasn't keeping up. But somehow Hobbit manages to pull ahead with a long bow, which is a level 10 weapon, and is now already utilizing Rain of Arrows, which is pretty cool. I think in the past, people still use Rain of Arrows, but it was significantly worse. Maybe the new Rain of Arrows is giving that little bit of extra spice to Ranger that allow Hobbit to justify his choice.
It seems like a few of the changes have definitely renewed Ranger a little bit. You've got that a little ghostly Mirage Archer that seems to help out quite a bit for some of these races, and that newly buffed Rain of Arrows seems to be just a touch better than it used to be for this sort of racing. So definitely helping the Ranger out, and I'll be keen to see how it goes against these duelists here in a bit of a longer race.
Interesting choice also from Hobbit here. He heads immediately to the middle of the zone. The middle is a very easy way to tell where you're supposed to be heading to get on over to the... Oh, Hobbit dropping very low, dies, doesn't choose to back out. Oh, Hobbit. That's going to be absolutely costing. That's a 1-minute penalty, and... Oh, it might just make all the difference, especially since he rushed it. He took the riskier route. As I was just saying, the players can determine where to head on over to the second level of the Chamber of Sins by looking at the waypoint and simply heading into the direction of where the waypoint is pointing to progress. And yeah, being a little bit more under-leveled, not choosing to go for those blue packs, might have just cost him his life, as he does drop, and that 1-minute penalty is absolutely going to hurt him.
Yeah, I think this is going to be a pretty close race the whole way, so that 1-minute penalty is definitely going to be hurting right now.
But look at that damage.
Yeah, it's actually looking...
That's crazy. That was an extremely fast fight. I don't think Sunder can keep up with something like that. Look at Helman's fight. I mean, it's comparable, but Hobbit being faster with a better single target than a... oh, okay. Helman busts out the double strike. Fidelitas drops immediately. I take everything back. Duelist is crazy.
Never mind. Massive single target from an actual single target skill. Not too bad. But as far as the AoE skill, single target, that looked pretty decent.
Yeah.
Pretty decent.
Yeah, that was pretty good. Definitely. The puncture absolutely helping out with fights like Fidelitas, as he does tend to move around quite a bit more. So as long as you can bleed him and just run around in some circles as he chases you, he's going to be taking a lot of damage. But the Mirage Archer rotation helps out too. DeadandDoom going for a vendor-crafted cleaver here. I believe he got 60 IPD. Pretty good.
I don't think I'm trying to look at Hobbit's setup right now. Mervail has added fire and onslaught. He doesn't seem to be able to get that Mirage Archer running right now. Instead opting for that onslaught, which I think makes a lot of sense and getting a little bit more damage. Yeah, we've definitely seen a little bit of that Mirage Archer earlier, and we do see it get used by these Ranger races a lot. So
yeah, I think he
might rely on a full link to really get that running.
I think he's possibly switching them out. I do believe I saw the Mirage Archer on Fidelitas, and he did fiddle around with his gems, so maybe he's just making the conscious choice of having it for a better rotation for those boss fights, and then for the most part he's trying to utilize added fire, or not exactly sure here.
Yeah, I guess just swapping out that onslaught for the Mirage Archer for boss kills makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Bump up that DPS just a little bit. Fightgar's going to be moving across the shrine. Looks like he hit a pretty large dead end there in his Weaver's Chambers.
Yeah, that's absolutely going to cost him one of the easier layouts to read, but every now and then you'll run into that very long bottom left layout, and Fightgarr, unfortunately, being the player who's kind of known for his bad luck, does need some advantages, and that boarding axe has absolutely been helping him out. And it really shows because his DPS on Weaver is quite crazy.
I'm surprised we didn't get a single phase Weaver, but I think that's just the territory of Blade Vortex.
Yeah.
As far as that skip goes.
Interesting choice from Helman, opening up an Essence with a small spider, which definitely speeds up the fight, but that's an Essence of Woe, which generally adds spell damage or energy shield if you use it on a piece of gear. Maybe a little bit questionable. Possibly he's not particularly happy with his weapon, and his DPS is absolutely looking a lot worse than Fightgar's or DeadandDoom's for that matter.
I don't know how good a spiked club is as far as a base to compete with boarding axe right now, but it is
not good.
It is 68 increased physical damage with 8% attack speed though.
Oh,
I mean,
okay.
Good as far as the spiked club goes. I'm not sure about that base.
Yeah, that's absolutely going to be helping him. You said attack speed?
It does have attack speed, yeah.
Alright, yeah, that's absolutely helping with the Leap Slam, obviously adding a lot over there. But a Spike Club is significantly worse. Generally, maces don't have nearly as much damage as axes do, but it's somewhat comparable, the biggest factor being that a mace will have more standard damage with not too much variance, while an axe will have a significantly higher top end and a much lower minimum amount of damage.
Like almost trying to swap into a two-hander there. ID's a Courier Maul, looks like, and or a Tribal Maul, and it also had 80 IPD as well.
Oh, nice.
Pulling out the big weapons back to back there. Unfortunately, we don't see too much two-handed action. I think out of all the races, we've had one two-hander get used once, aside from bows, and that was a +1 staff that got used briefly.
Yeah. Unfortunately, one-handeds definitely came out of the meta. One of the most, well, for the longest time for those melee races, you absolutely needed to use a two-hander. And that's been really working out well for players. But nowadays, players have enough damage, abilities are significantly stronger. And it's a lot more justifiable to utilize dual wielding for some more damage and some attack speed to have those faster leaps.
Hobbit was looking for that Creighton skip there, sticking to that edge, and gets the gets a little brief bridge skip, but not the Rise QT skip though. None of that.
Okay, none of that. Yeah, you do need possibly a master or a zone that is heading further to the left. his zone heading a little bit to the left, but it wasn't quite enough. And without that master, that quite rare layout simply won't happen. It did look like he was looking for the big skip now. DeadandDoom hitting the ball in a pretty good pace.
Oh, yep. He's pushing that thing over, releasing who knows what into the environment, into the atmosphere. No care for Mother Nature.
No, absolutely not. He's not a ranger. He doesn't care.
So Hobbit looks like he's about a zone and a half behind at this point. The other guys, maybe a little bit more so. Although this could just be the bandit order here.
Yeah, possibly so. I'm not exactly sure if DeadandDoom has already dealt with Alira or not. This is a Dominus race, so those resistances do come into play as the players will be reaching Dominus being quite under level. Typically, you're going to be looking at level 28, possibly 29 even, if you're a little bit more of a casual player. But these guys are most likely going to be looking to get level 21 or so to just be able to equip their broad axes, and they will be progressing straight for Piety to Dominus and having that fight being extremely underleveled.
Looks like we've got Helman and Hobbit going both to help Alira now, I believe. Yeah, we see Helman finding that stone path there. A little bit of a circuitous route from the looks of things. He gets there in the end. So everyone's going to be helping Alira for those resistances. There's a lot of elemental damage from Piety onwards, especially.
Oh yeah. Even having even having those resistances for a zone like sewers possibly might allow you to just check the vendor one less time, which is a huge benefit because you don't have to be equipping those topaz rings. And for any of these attack-based classes such as Ranger and Duelist, those iron rings really help out throughout the entirety of the race, so you don't necessarily want to be giving up even such a tiny amount of damage.
Looks like Fightgarr is just coming up through his northern forest now, so trying to catch up to DeadandDoom. Looks like he's taken second place now from the looks of things. But,
yeah, it's
DeadandDoom
honestly looking pretty solid. Yeah, DeadandDoom's struggling a lot with this caverns layout, not being able to find the entrance to Ancient Pyramid. I do believe that he should be quite close right now, but he does get the opposite. I'm not exactly sure why. Oh, okay. No, okay, yeah, his zone was heading on from the left, so it was a really interesting choice to be going to the right. Maybe he was hoping for a middle layout and just cutting some corners there, possibly feeling underleveled, but generally in the layout that comes out from the left side of caverns with the entrance being to the left, you want to be heading to the left past the waypoint, as generally the entrance to the next level will be either to the left, to the top left, or on the middle of that zone.
Fightgarr is going to be starting his not too long from now. And we got Helman navigating his Vile Ruins. Looks like he's hit a couple dead ends in there as well. And Hobbit polishing up his Vile Ruins after what looked like just one small dead end. So he got a decent run through there.
Yeah, the players have absolutely sped up. Well, Hobbit is the only player who has slowed down so far from the looks of it in Act 2, with Fightgarr, Helman, and DeadandDoom really speeding up in Act 2 because their time's looking pretty great. If some of you guys watched the Vol race yesterday, you might be thinking, oh, they're not on such a great pace. This is going to be like a 30-minute Vol kill. That's not even that impressive. DeadandDoom had a world record 27-minute Vol kill yesterday. But what you do need to keep in mind is that, well, RNG is a factor, and also that these players are looking to hit at least level 21, which is quite a bit of a difference for the Dominus fight compared to the level 13 that players were hitting yesterday to prepare them for the Vol kill. So do keep that in mind. They are significantly higher level, possibly even level 18 or 19, trying to equip that faster attacks for their leap slam as soon as possible. Looks
like Hobbit picked up a diamond shrine on the way through his northern forest, helping him get a bit more XP, and he also gets a lucky recurve bow drop as well. So he's got his next bow lined up. He throws an alk on it immediately. Wow. Maybe a little early on that alk, but he's like eager and excited to see if he's going to have a decent weapon for this race. Ooh, goes a little low there. And it looks like you got 2 decent flat damage rolls on there, also fat damage rolls.
Okay.
So we'll see if that helps out. Hopefully you'll be, with this XP, getting there soon enough.
Yeah, the Contagious Fightgarr picking up a great Warhammer level 20 weapon. Again, a mace that doesn't differ too much from the Broadaxe, but he will be able to equip it a little bit earlier. I wonder if it's actually going to be better than his weapon. Without attack speed, probably he's not going to be looking to equip it outside of those boss fights, but maybe so.
Yeah, that's the thing for these duelists. Like, I've seen them plenty of times use a much worse DPS weapon that has attack speed, or at least like swap into it for traveling, just for that leap slam speed.
Yeah, possibly some weapon swaps will be in order here, as his damage isn't looking nearly as great as DeadandDoom's for that Vol fight. So yeah, the Broadaxe is great, and it's absolutely helping with his leaps, but at this point, it might be a little bit...
Ooh, Val trying to get the kill there. Almost manages to secure a lightning kill, which would have been possibly a racing first for us to see a Val death outside of a ghosted Val. But not quite.
Yeah, Fightgarr picks up a 2-stoned ring, which what looked like some physical damage, so that's absolutely going to be helping. It doesn't have lightning resistance, so it won't help for the trickier of fights, which is going to be Piety and Dominus. But for right now, it will definitely help at least a little bit as soon as he can equip it at level 20.
Hobbit's got a lot of gems to level up.
Yeah, that's a lot of gems.
He's just trying to line them all up so that when they all level at the same time, it's going to be that really bright ding on the character. It's really satisfying. He's just trying to line all those gems up. I do that from time to time.
Yeah, it does seem like Hobbit, for the most part in this race, has been excelling at how optimized his killing speed has been, and really utilizing that blink hour to have that gray mobility, as he sees the entrance for the Ancient Pyramid. But one of the things that he hasn't been performing too well on has been adding up those skill points, and possibly, yeah, also clicking his gem level ups.
Click the gems, angry emoji. He gets into his Ancient Pyramid, though. He's going to be heading on towards his Val fight very soon. Looks like Havoc just started his Ancient Pyramid as well. Or he might be one extra zone ahead at this point.
Big misread from Fightgarr, unfortunately, in the Sarn pyramid. Whenever you're heading to the left in Sarn City, excuse me, or Sarn Sewers, or is it just the Sarn? Now I'm freaking out.
City
the
of
slums.
Sarn.
Oh my god, it's the slums. Yeah, whenever you're heading to the left. Listen, I know what the layout is, I just don't know what the zone's called. It's absolutely fine. Whenever you head on over to the left, in the slums, whenever you hit a wall, you absolutely always want to be heading down. He heads up, hits PP Face, the unique boss of that zone, and unfortunately that's a big dead end, so he has to make up for that time by having a little bit faster crematorium progression.
I also don't think that boss is necessarily called PP Face, Rise.
I do, but okay, there are some things that you just can't correct me on, and one of those things is PP Face. Okay,
I'm pretty sure it's pronounced Pipitus. It's I think it's Roman name. It's a Roman name.
Yeah, PP Face.
Anyhow, DeadandDoom is upgraded into his cleaver, 64 IPD. That looks like that was a vendor craft. I think I just saw him blacksmithing, like actually using a blacksmith whetstone, and then alching another weapon though. So I'll get an update on what that is soon. We're still on a vendor crafted composite bow for Hobbit, but he does have a recurved upgrading to soon, so you'll hopefully be getting that going. And
I do believe
yeah, it looks like
vendor crafted, correct?
His composite bow.
Yep.
Hobbits. Yeah, that is a vendor crafted composite bow right now. DeadandDoom's Broadaxe that he just crafted has 10 to 21 cold, 1 to 28 lightning, and 6% attack speed. That's pretty good. That's pretty good right there. Elemental damage, but still pretty good.
Tricky, yeah.
Large
Do
amount of
remember that
elemental
there's no
damage.
scaling for the elemental damage that these players pick up, but the attack speed absolutely helps, and a lot of these tougher bosses, because for right now, you know, this is basically the tutorial. These players just have to get through Vol. They're leveling normally, so it's just a matter of optimizing their play and getting enough levels and just feeling comfortable in all of these fights. That's why their times are a little bit shorter, because they do need to keep up those levels, but the real tough fights will be Dominus and Piety, and those guys have resistances that you don't necessarily want to be dealing with as an attack-based character. So absolutely, something like that with that sort of a high amount of damage will be helping, but you're still going to be looking for that scalable physical damage weapon.
Yeah, that is it. The elemental damage not really necessarily as good there. Looks like I just updated Hobbit's gear readout when he was in the middle of swapping to his new weapon. Looks like he ended up vendor crafting the recurve, so I was not happy with the stats he got before. So I'm pretty sure I just saw a single blue stat there, so that would be a vendor craft, I'd say.
Okay, that's understandable. I mean, his damage is looking pretty great.
Yeah, it's definitely a step up. I mean, he hit that bow at the exact right level. He had that ready to go, so there's no way.
Hobbit being really confused here. He's unable to find the guard. He was hiding in some sort of building behind Clarissa.
Guy's taking cover. What is going on there?
Yep. He knows he's finally figured it out after thousands and thousands of players killing him over and over. He's like, no, I'm not having any of it anymore. I'm just going to stay at home and play Fortnite all day. Eventually comes out, tries to do his duty, but unfortunately it wasn't enough, and Hobbit comes out victorious.
It's too early in the morning for me, for you. Right.
Sorry.
It's glorious. It's good.
Oh, possibly DeadandDoom would have. Oh man, if he would have had a bow, he isn't quite seeing the ledge, but it does seem like he's trying to go for a big skip here. Is he going the right way right now? I don't
We have seen.
I'm not sure. He's got a master in his zone, so.
Master dead end. Every now and then you get the worst dead end in these zones. He gets it though.
Yeah. That looked a little bit tricky. It did look like one of those big skip layouts that you can perform with a lightning warp or a blink arrow, but no, he had absolutely the correct read there and progressed very nicely to the Solaris 2 waypoint, having already picked up the flame or sulfurite from Dox and is now progressing on over to Piety, which, yeah, Solaris, Lunaris, and Piety are some of the trickier things to deal with in Act 3. We'll be seeing how well he can do this. Currently not really killing any mobs, just trying to keep up a little bit of that onslaught. Already switched to a triple mana flask setup, so he's looking to kill as little as possible, just trying to leap slam all the way on over to a safe Piety kill.
Yeah, that triple mana flask is very, very good signifier of I'm just going to go ham on the leap slams right now, because you really need that mana to keep up that leap slamming for traveling these long distances with the minimal killing that's going to go on. He is already that level 21, so he's not really looking to grab any more levels. I think he's pretty satisfied with his broad axe right now, maybe keeping a physical damage axe in his inventory for the boss kills possibly, but this axe is probably good enough anyway. He's like, I'm set, let's go.
Yeah, I don't think he's too worried about that. With Sunder, that fight's significantly easier. Would look a little bit differently if he were to be using Grand Slam or try to really utilize his double strike, or maybe even something like Cleave, as we've seen in some of the other races. But with that Sunder, it makes for a pretty safe fight, and I think he's going to be absolutely fine here. One of the big factors going into the Dominus and the Piety fights is just trying to build up enough defense so that you are able to face tank while utilizing your potions. Some of the more time-consuming attacks from those bosses, such as maybe the Lightning Storm or the Fire Phase from Piety, and the channeled Lightning Spirits from Dominus. So we're going to be seeing whether or not he actually has enough resistances for those encounters very soon.
Looks like we've got Fightgarr just clearing up his sewers now as well. He's going to be heading on through. And we got Helman, I think is this just starting his sewers here? Yeah, this will be just starting his sewers. So Helman falling a little bit behind, unfortunately. And Hobbit is just now locating his sewers too.
Yeah, he's quite a bit behind Fightgarr, with Fightgarr heading over to Lunaris. DeadandDoom already making it all the way over to Piety, having a pretty good Lunaris setup. We'll be seeing whether or not he can actually do enough damage.
Kill. Let's see how it goes. This is one of the spots in the race where things can go wrong, taking a decent amount of damage that the fire form is not going to be too difficult for him to deal with. Piety gets distracted by a totem just briefly, which is enough time for him to just continue to DPS, and he just shreds her. Absolutely,
that was incredibly smooth. Yeah, that was incredibly smooth. Honestly, this can be one of those trickier fights. A lot of players utilizing their portal scrolls. Every time Piety changes forms, as long as you TP out, she will be back to her original form while also being stunned the same way she would as if she were to be normally changing forms. So a lot of players utilizing that. But DeadandDoom, having enough fire resistance, was able to tank her for the most part, utilizing his totem too, just immediately goes through all of her HP and now has a very smooth progression to the next fight, which is going to be Dominus. But on the way, he still has to get through Scepter of God, which can be very tricky. A lot of mobs slowing down. There's a lot of freeze pulsers. There are also Arctic breath mobs, which can freeze you because these players only have in the ballpark of 400 HP, with DeadandDoom I think having the most at 378. Actually, Fightgarr has the most, 415. So not a whole lot for these bosses.
I think in the background we did see a quick death from Hobbit there. I'm not sure what took him down, but that might well be Hobbit racking up a second death. It's going to make things very difficult for him to catch up here.
Yeah, that's going to be very tricky. He's still on a pretty good pace considering all things, such as being a ranger. He was able to keep up with Helman for the most part, but eventually Fightgarr with that boarding axe just blasted through content, and so far, oh, DeadandDoom dropping really low here to some lightning.
Huge elemental damage in Scepter of God there. We got simultaneously Fightgar's Piety fight about to start. Yeah, it sounds like Hobbit died to one of those discharges in sewers. We're talking about how dangerous those guys can be. Piety sends a lightning ball in the wrong direction. Fightgarr takes out her portal, and she doesn't transform. She goes into fire form. He portals, and he dies on his portal. Oh my god, Fightgarr.
Yeah, he was trying to skip the phase by portaling out, truly utilizing that NA ping, but it just wasn't fast enough.
No.
Gets hit by Piety twice, followed up with one of the ads, just barely takes him down. Very unfortunate. But the fight continues, being 1 minute behind. I wonder if this gives some of the other players an opportunity to catch up here. Well, Helman and Hobbit are quite a bit behind, but if Fightgarr maybe dies once or twice again, then we're going to be having a big fight for number 1 or number 2. But DeadandDoom so far has been progressing really well.
Yeah, DeadandDoom's looking in real good shape, and he's, I mean, we have seen multiple deaths on Dominus before, but I think DeadandDoom is probably going to go in for a smooth fight here. We'll see if there's any last-minute shake-ups. I'm not expecting the moon here, but, you know, 3 quick deaths would be nice.
Honestly, DeadandDoom having an incredibly good pace. Anything you're going to be seeing here under 50 minutes is super impressive, with the world record being only 44 minutes. But yeah, this is going to be a tough fight. He's taking a lot of damage from the fireballer. That is a guy that can possibly one-shot you. There are a lot of obstacles that aren't easily visible in this fight, and if he just lines his fireballs right, he does have a chance to AoE overlap or shotgun, which almost happened there for DeadandDoom. Again, dropping low, but keeping the fight under control.
Yeah, that fireballer is very scary. He's near that wall as well. Eats a couple fireballs, goes kind of low, but manages to deal with it. That's the first scary phase of the fight. The next part is mostly Dominus's first phase, though I have seen people die in the second phase as well. So we'll see how that goes. He's checking his resist, just making doubly sure before the actual Dominus phase starts. Dominus is going to be descending down.
It's very important that he is able to attack throughout the entirety of the channeled phase, and that's exactly what we were talking about earlier.
Oh, it looks
that's
like
what he does. Yep. That's going to be helping out a lot.
Yeah, we're going to see a pretty comfortable first phase for him then here.
Ooh. Drops low from the cold damage of those totems. You still have to stay out of that. Typically, players will be significantly under gear tier and under leveled, and so they're only able to focus on one of those resistances, and preferably it would be lightning. So he does drop quite low from just about any other type of damage here.
Yeah, including those little fire exploders coming in from the left there.
Oh, yeah.
Which just manages to avoid one of them there. Looks like his Dominus second phase will be starting. We're just keeping an eye on the other guys. We haven't had anything untoward happen in the background, I don't believe. And
Helman dropping a little bit low on the Gravicious, but charges right through and just calculated amounts of damage that he was taking there.
Yeah, looks like Helman's heading towards his Piety, and Fightgar's Dominus will be not too far behind, though Fightgarr does have that 1 minute penalty now. So back to DeadandDoom's second phase Dominus here. The demonic bunny rabbit has arisen. Those bleeds can stack up and start chewing through those flasks. Most players at this point will need to use several portals potentially. And there goes DeadandDoom's first portals just for those flask resets. And if I've seen people not hit those portals in time as well. And so he needs to stay on top of that. He's looking pretty good here. That damage is solid. The healing is solid. He looks sturdy enough. I think he's going to be taking down.
To go for the more defensive strategy too. Generally, you are able to use double strike on this fight, which significantly increases your single target. But he's opting to use Sunder and really utilizing the AOE of this ability to keep down the adds, which makes for a significantly safer fight. And he takes it down. I do believe no deaths. Looking pretty good.
Dominus and Piety world record, by the way. DeadandDoom claims, I'm not sure. I don't know what the current world record is on that. We might need to check that
Definitely
out.
Not. I'm not exactly sure what he's talking about, because the world record is 44 minutes for Dominus, and he's the one who said it. So
I think he might be having a giggle there, mate. He's Not too happy with how that went, but nonetheless, he's got to be somewhat happy at least, because he secures that first place, handily so, with a very nice Dominus fight.
Oh, yeah.
And we've got Fightgarr in the background going into his first phase of Dominus, taking down the ads. Looks like he already took down the Fireball nice and early without any worries. So he's looking pretty good, but he could all just have Fire Resist. So we'll see if he has any Lightning Resist moving into the next phase.
Click your flask, Fightgarr. What is going on? Come on, bruh.
I don't think you want to
click a half HP, styling on these mobs here, choosing not to click his flask, but yeah, maybe not as smart of an idea. He did go for the risky strategy of fully linking his double strike, just super tricky. He doesn't have another life flask, only has one, but he's got enough portals to not have to TP out. We'll be seeing whether or not he's actually got enough damage for the second phase Dominus. He has got 5 portals, so he should be absolutely fine for this.
Yeah, that portal scroll count actually making a bit of a difference here. It's like Dominus going for the ground and pound on his totem. Poor totem. Helman is in his Piety fight right now. Goes very low. It's one of the phases that I didn't see which one. But he's slashing away at Piety, and looks like he's about to get the kill before she does anything else. So Helman securing his Piety kill. Back to Fightgar's Dominus kill, though. Ooh, gets the channel on the totem. That's ideal. He is avoiding the lightning, so I think he's not quite confident in his lightning damage. Also, Dominus is standing right on top of those exploding ads, so he has to back off. He can't stand there.
Especially since, again, he is focused on double strike, so whenever he has an opportunity, he really tries to go ham on Dominus, and it was enough for this phase, and his single target should be looking a lot better too.
He's got 5
out of the friends list.
Only that one life flask though, which means that he might have to portal back to town several times here if he takes too much damage from these slashes and bleeds. The bleeds themselves are quite nasty, as you can see. He goes very low from 2 quick slashes there. Flask is not able to keep up. He's going to be portaling out a bunch here on this side. He's going to be chewing through those 5 portals.
Yeah, but his damage is looking significantly better. Yeah. Those ads will be stacking up, but so far his damage is looking significantly better.
He's waiting till the last minute to do that portal each time.
Yeah, he can't be dying here because Helman is very shortly behind and Fightgarr already has one death. Oh, Fightgarr.
Does Helman have any deaths? I don't remember if Helman has.
I don't believe so.
That said, Helman is almost dying right there. Somehow survives.
Okay.
A nasty
Fightgarr
pack in the back
down.
Nicely done. That's one death for Fightgarr, bringing him to 53-25 as a time to beat. Very
Pretty
nicely
good time.
done for Fightgarr.
Very, very respectable time, honestly, from all of these players here. With Hobbit, unfortunately, using that Ranger, currently without Flask, going through Lunaris at a massive shrine, opts not to commit to that and just runs away, which I think was the smarter choice. And Helman, currently progressing through the Scepter of God, not yet having made it to the upper Scepter of God, just trying to dodge all these lightning dealing mobs. Maybe a portal is in order.
He dies in the air, in midair. He had no flask. He had no flask. I don't know if he has any portal scrolls either. He's like, I can't log out. I have to try. I have to try and make it. But he leaps through the air, gets taken out by a freeze pulse midair.
Oh, he almost
Helman
made
with
it to
the
the
big-
waypoint too.
He almost got
Right
there.
there.
He was going for it.
Oh.
Scepter of God proving lethal once again. It is a very dangerous zone. Helman cracking a big grin on his face, though. He's having a good time at the very least, which is, well, that's what it's all about in the end.
Yeah, he doesn't have a whole lot of currency. I do believe that he's trying to sell as much as possible, getting those portal scrolls. Yep, selling it up. That's going to be about 3 portal scrolls for Helman, which I think should be enough for a pretty smooth fight. Possibly he is a little bit higher level than the other players, because he has taken a little bit longer to get to this upper scepter. But Hobbit heading on over to Piety.
Oh, we're getting slashed down by one of the whipping miscreations there. Those things hurt. He skips the door
Good
with
guy.
the blink arrow, but opens it anyway. That's good. That's
Good
highly
guy,
ethical.
Hobbit, letting the mobs in. That's absolutely unbelievable.
Highly ethical there. Very nice to see. It's fair
Helman
play.
committing to picking up a shrine, sees a massive shrine with way too many mobs for him to be able to handle, and just simply gets out of there immediately. Do keep in mind the Helman does only have 363 HP, which is less than both Fightgarr and DeadandDoom when they were progressing through the zone. Not exactly sure how his resistances are looking, but so far it's been a pretty tough progression.
Unless he's got a lightning resistance ring swap here, his lightning resistance is going to be basically non-existent based on his
Doesn't.
current
I think he vendored it.
Uh-oh. So first phase Dom's going to be a little scary here from the looks of things. He should be
Yeah.
alright with the fireballer.
Yeah, I think he's gonna be fine. Players still have a ton of time. Again, do keep in mind that
Hobbit getting shredded by a superior archer, I guess. A better archer takes the day for the fight between Hobbit and Iceform Piety there. Ouch.
yeah, I
think
do
that
know the
Ranger-
feeling.
Evasion to work out for him, but did not. Looks like
Yeah,
Helman's playing a little safe on the fireballer. Oh, taking huge amounts of damage. I thought his fire resist was going to give him a little bit more support than that, but I guess that low HP total is just not enough. He's standing awfully close to that wall there, but he only just makes it through that fireball there.
Calculated.
Wow. That was better math than I could ever hope to achieve.
Oh yeah, absolutely. But oh my
Whoa! The
man,
technical miscreation also dealing physical and fire damage with those little bolts, and shredding him a little bit there. But Helman keeping our heart rates pumping for the end of this race here. It's not an unexciting finish to the race, though. First and second have been well decided. Helman and Hobbit giving us a fine show to go out on, which is always glorious to see.
busting out the double strike here also.
It's gonna
With
be
that
tough.
Yeah, but this is going to be a little bit of a tough Dominus phase, as he does not have that lightning resistance. He's going to have to be dodging a lot, gets stunned instantly by the spirits. Non-crit, no shock. Yeah, that resistance is...
Helman's going to be aiming to do this on pure skill alone here, and he's going to need all of his skills as sharp as possible here to avoid everything that Dominus has to throw at him, because all of that stuff is just going to kill him. The exploders, the cold beams, his stuff. Yeah, he's not much in the way of resist right here.
Well, he is making the best that he can possibly with what he's got right now. Dominus definitely not giving up. Oop! Yep, chain stun will absolutely take him down.
Definitely not giving up here. Helman with the massive grin on dying. I don't think I've ever seen a guy so happy to die. It's glorious to see. I thought Helman had Dominus's number there. He had Dominus channeling his lightnings on the totem. He got behind him with the double strikes. Nothing personal. Dominus took it personally though. Whips around and takes him out. Ooh.
Yeah, very tricky here, unfortunately. Dodges the slam like a true professional, utilizing his leap slam, but then gets slowed down. The spirit's coming out, stunning him. Unfortunately, makes it out this time, and he's on to the next phase with just 2 portal scrolls. But despite everything, still rocking those 2 life flasks with Fightgarr earlier, only using 1. So hopefully he's not going to have to use nearly as many portals as Fightgarr did.
He's only got that 1 flask charge right now, so hopefully this will last him a decent amount of the fight here.
Well,
he's waiting to use that first charge.
Yeah, that's really great. He's been dodging everything very well.
So like Dominus was going for the totem on the opposite side of him. Always a smart strategy to throw that totem on the other side, just in the off chance he turns around and attacks, having you avoided attack completely. In the background, Hobbit is making his way to Dominus. Helman goes very low, down to like sub 20 HP there. Helman has been low life most of this run here, I swear. That is insane how close that was. Calculated once again, Rhymes.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Oh yeah.
Takes it down
and
very
he gets it. He types death in all caps. He has died 2 times, bringing his time there to looks like 61-20 for his Dominus skill there. Nicely done to Helman. Definitely deserving an easy clap. A fine showing there at the end. And it is only seconds away from Hobbit hitting up his Dominus skill as well. Looks like he's just maybe 1 zone away at this point.
Yep, he's already an upper scepter of God, making it all the way through, utilizing his potions, dodging professionally all those freeze pulses, and honestly, considering the set out time for this race was about 1 hour and 10, Hobbit's time is looking pretty great over here, despite being a ranger. A very strong showing from Stupid Fat Hobbit.
I have to ask you this as we head into Dominus's fight with Hobbit. Are you one of the people who leaves your loot labels up during the Dominus fight? Because this bothers me so much. All these guys leave their loot labels up, and it stresses me out.
In the last race that I was in, I looked back on my Dominus fight to possibly look back and just learn a little bit more about what I did right and what I did wrong, what I could have done, and immediately you hit me with the I can't believe he left the loot labels up. I'm one of those guys, absolutely so.
It stresses me out so much you can't see anything in this fight with the loot labels. Thanks to all these mini-bosses, which Hobbit is now fighting, the Fireballer, again proving to be very scary. It looks like he's having a better time with it than Helman did, though. I think his resist are looking a little better. Still, he's going to be very careful around those walls.
Flask that's been really saving him there.
That seething of bleed, seething of staunching. That's an ideal flask right there. That's an endgame flask right there. He's going to be set for the second phase. Ooh, still taking lots of damage though. The Sparker, proving that she presents a threat as well. Building up those sparks, getting sapping away Hobbit's flask charges there.
Yeah, that can be very tricky. She put down 4 totems constantly. As Hobbit would take down one of the totems, she would put down another. Constantly sitting at 4 totems, dropping low against this phase. This is the worst case scenario that you can fight it. Having this fight for an attack-based character, because one of these mobs is speeding up the other mob, and the other mob is putting down those smoke clouds on the ground, preventing you from being able to deal the usual amount of damage that you would be dealing, possibly denying you some of the leech or life gain on hit that you would have. So very tricky, but Hobbit splits them up nicely, takes down the lady with the large breast, and then commits to the Shroud Walker and is now on to the next phase. Fights Dominus. Will be seeing whether or not he has enough lightning resistance. He does have 2 Topaz rings, so that should be more than enough.
Good.
His potion management a little bit tricky. Let's see if he's going to be TPing out here. He still has 4 portals left, utilizing 1 of them, 3 left. But this Dominus fight should be pretty smooth as long as he's got the totems under control. Yeah, you can absolutely face tank that.
The nice thing is here he can achieve full DPS even at range, which allows some of those little lightning tendrils to miss him completely. So that's nice. He's got to watch out for that slam though. He gets tagged by the slam. I was like, you're a little close there, buddy. That's right on the edge of that thing. Oh no.
That's very tricky. I'm not sure if that's his latency displayed, but if you just take a quick peek at it, it's
a bit of a roller coaster.
It's a bit of a roller coaster, yeah. That's something you could definitely have fun with at a Disney park. I'm not.
That might be a little neck breaking. There's some sharp curves right there.
Yeah, he has to TP out a lot. Honestly, this fight should have been a lot more under control. It seems like maybe he's sweating a little bit, putting down a decoy totem, and then immediately planting himself behind it. Knees weak, arms are heavy. He's not particularly confident here. Well, he should be. Really overusing his potions. This might make for a very difficult phase 3 as he's only down to 2 portal scrolls now. But
ooh, 20 HP dodging somehow all of those lightning projectiles there. You did mention heavy arms rise, and I think you're right. I think the problem is this is just the range of spaghetti DPS right here.
Oh yeah.
Not taking down Dominus fast enough. Looks like we got to about 5 HP there in that last bit. Giving Dominus every opportunity to DPS Hobbit back in return.
Boot dodges the slam expertly, calculates exactly where he can stand. Doesn't take another one. Takes down the phase. Earlier, he did go back to town, sold a lot of his gear just to be able to pick up a little bit more portal scrolls, and is now looking at 4 portal scrolls with, you know, a large amount of AoE for the ads of this phase in particular. I think his kill speed should be pretty similar to what DeadandDoom had, but not nearly as fast as Helman's or Fightgar's double strike DPS.
I'd like to see some health gone real low here, using that Seething of Staunching Flask to bring him back up. He's going to make full use of those instant heals. Arguably, you really want that heal over time in this. So you can just
double clicks his potions. Having to TP out now, running out of charges. Again, this potion management has been really hurting Hobbit. He needs to pay attention to the attacks of the mobs and also taking care of those ads.
And the dried spaghetti is falling from the sky.
Again, double click on the potions. He's panicking. Ooh. He hasn't practiced this enough, I believe.
My
his damage is there. His gear is there. But he just can't manage his potions properly. There's definitely some mum spaghetti going on here.
Ah, you can see it falling from the sky. Look at those hard spaghetti strands falling from the sky right now.
Oh yeah. Well, down to this last portal, he doesn't have that much more to sell. Decides not to go for it. Come on, Hobbit, you can do this. Just think about it as you're writing up a filter or something, man.
He's vendoring all the things, picking up as many scrolls as possible. He's like, I'm going full investment on this Dominus kill, which is good to see. You gotta be all in on this. Want to see some nice fast management for this last phase right here. Yeah, this is about the DPS you can expect with vendor crafted weapons for a ranger. As I said before, it's you really need better than that. Oh, he's got this! He's got this! He gets it. Nicely done.
He admits to the fight being sloppy. Definitely, again, some case of the spaghettis there. But he still did great. Honestly, an extremely respectable time for a Ranger Dominus kill. Kicking off a league, possibly, as these races obviously are something, the knowledge that you gain through these is something that you can utilize at a possible league start. If you were to start a league and have this sort of time as a solo Ranger, I think you would be extremely happy. So definitely some easy claps in the chat for Hobbit are in order. And again, a very strong showing here.
Definitely easy claps all around for all the players there. Very nice to see such an entertaining first race of the semifinals now. And we'll be coming back for round 2 to find out who the other 2 people making it through into the grand finale will be. We do, of course, have DeadandDoom and Fightgarr moving through from this round. And in next round, we'll be having... If I can bring up the stream. We got Mr. Rise QT, none other than yourself, my friend. How are you feeling about the next race?
Oh, I'm feeling a little bit shaky. Uber Elite, the master of practice. I do know that he's been practicing a lot and he's been rocking some really good times. Absolutely scary. Garatha, in my opinion, the best racer of all time. A lot of respect for Garatha. It's going to be super tricky. And then Waggle, who with the power of chat has wiggled his way through to the semis. And I do believe that if things go correctly for him, he can have an extremely strong showing. Very risky group, but I'm going to try to do my best with the little practice that I had. Some might say equaling 0, but, you know.
Hey, you said that, but you got second of all the times yesterday. I would just like to remind everybody. So I'm looking forward to seeing your race in a moment. Chat is getting amped up. That'll be beginning in about 6 or so minutes' time. And I believe I'll be returning with possibly a new co-caster soon for that. So I wish you the best of luck, Rise, and thank you for co-commentating instead of practicing. You could have been practicing right now. Instead, you opted to co-commentate with me, and I appreciate that. Thank you, dude.
Watching the best of racers is the best of practice, so absolutely. My secret strategy, why play when you can watch instead? But I do thank you very much for having me, and I wish all the best of luck to all the racers, and I hope you guys will stick around to watch the remaining semifinals and then also the special extra race that we're having after the semis.
Excellent stuff. Thank you. I couldn't have said it better myself, Rise. Cheers, mate. We'll see you guys soon.
See you guys soon.